Some really good high intensity rounds this week. Was not able to take you down with the traditional takedown. And a couple of times this week, you did a really good job making sure your hips were facing the ground, that you were getting up in positions that you thought you could get up. And then that made it so that I had to play a lot of guard this week. And you shut that down quite a bit. And so I had to ditch out into bad positions and then try to recover from there. Really excellent wrestling this week, good reading and reacting. I'm going to have to press the advantage once you have that underhook a little bit more. And I have to enter a little bit more quickly into those single legs. I'll have to start drilling the changing of the levels to get a little bit faster than first semi-successful takedown sequence. You get that underhook. I come in, I launch you to the side, but you don't fall over. One of those examples of not falling over, keeping your hips facing the ground. And then from here, I go for a little anaconda darce roll, but you're able to avoid the arm pressure by keeping your arm straight and by your ear. By here, I could probably have reefed on it, but I wanted to get it clean, so I started attacking the back. One thing I'm experimenting more is being more intentional with the hooks. So usually I just go for the choke right away, but these days I'm looking for hooks, some body locks, and trying to get into a mount position with a lock. So kind of a more controlling topside position. Here I may have been able to finish if I really reefed on it, but I wanted to get it clean. And then some good guard work from you here. Probably should have sunk back into your hips, but you do a great escape into this turtle position, but I'm able to grab a darce. But I should have gone back and stayed on top here, but I overcommitted because I felt I had a good guillotine purchase here. I committed to the guillotine, thought I could finish here, but I was wrong. This is where the really good passing came into play here. In this position, usually I'm good and I'll explode into a wrestling position, but you change your hips and go into mount. Just a beautiful pass. Right here was the battle of the day, tri-slap slicer versus Americana. And then you win just because my grips burnt out You had a good grip. Just really intentional with the control here, giving up the half guard, but keeping the hook and keeping on top, and then staying behind the elbow. Then you snuck in behind me with a beautiful little one-handed rear naked there. Very classic combination of mine. Failed shot into kind of a giggler wrestle up. But again, another example of you just refusing to keep your hips on the ground and getting up, and then that puts you in a good spot here. Good attacking position. Again, trying to keep your hips facing the ground, extracting the leg, but I'm following that back leg, trying to keep my shoulders close to it, but you retract it and then use it to pin my legs. I thought I'd be able to bowl you over here, but I couldn't, so I ditched this position. Here I'm usually good, but again, you do a really good job getting your hips facing the ground and past my legs into mount. Just excellent passing. So always for me, a good way to escape is to get to my feet, my hands and feet. But this half Nelson could have kept me down. You could have probably pressed the issue here, but you feel a little bit wary, so you get up. Another beautifully timed pass. Again here, if I have the underhook, usually, or even if I don't have the underhook, I'll pop up, kind of wrestle. But you did a back step and then re-step forward into that mount position. So I keep going for this half guard here, but the only thing that's saving me is that little ankle grip. From there, I'm trying to dig for an underhook if I can, maybe doing a bicep slicer. And this was a really good idea from you, an Uchimata, so you feel that you could kick your leg back and put me on my back. But I felt that coming and I was able to roll with it and go and put you on your back there. But again, another great example of keeping your hips facing the ground. That puts you in a good spot and then puts you on top of me into a triangle position. But I have that bottom leg, and that's what saved me, is I had control of that bottom leg. I could pull your hips back facing upwards. Closest I got to a pass, I got control of that bottom leg. Maybe if I put a little more pressure on the top leg, I would have been past there. I probably could have turned around on, gotten to this other side, but again, really good recovery of the guard and very difficult for me to pass here. A well-timed nudge to my butt, and then I try to initiate a little bit of a leg lock sequence, maybe a guillotine sequence. I didn't want to ditch out here because I knew I had inside position with the legs. But a little guillotine, making sure you step over the leg and then put pressure on my guard. This back step was really nice into a leg lock. I thought I would want to ditch out into 50-50, but you kept me on the side heel and then went for a knee bar at first and then I bent and locked my leg back into the heel position. I thought I'd be able to get out with this hand grip that I have behind your knee, but I couldn't get out here. You tuck my leg back into the perfect spot. You're on the right side of your hip. Just really good finish mechanics. Really nice heel hook. From the top, little back step. The only kind of clean takedown I had, just snapping you down into side control kind of, but you recover. But kind of a read and react, you were in a bad position there. I think I'm going to really start pressing the issue with this dog bar sequence. I'm getting a lot of good reactions from you, and I think if I time it right with the right crab hooks, I can take you back from there. But really great response, putting me kind of in this crucifix position, and then I respond by getting onto my hands and knees, as usual, as my normal back defense. Usually successful, but Peterson roll. Again, you're just refusing to take the back position and keeping your hips facing the ground. Really good pressure, just holding on for dear life here. And then the mistake of keeping that leg close to my arm, I'm able to get the angle, and then a little bit of strength today, lifting you, spinning you, and taking your back. Then a little bit of tactical work. Then I think I finish off with a little bit of an arm triangle, again just using strength to finish. Really good work today. Put me in a lot of tough spots, really worked my guard. Had to use a lot of strength today. Good rounds. I'll see you next week.